Eric Harley here for the Midnight Trucking Radio Network. Right now joining me, our friends from Chevron, Nicole Fujishige. Nicole, how are you?
I'm doing great, Eric. Happy to be here.
Welcome back to the program, and you brought our old friend Carmen Ulabaro. Carmen, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Hey, let's talk about, first of all, we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about Chevron Delo and what to know. A lot of information about synthetics, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment, Nicole. I want to talk to you, Carmen, about extended life coolants. All right, there is a push right now for these universal coolants. Mm-hmm. All right, it seems like it's a push based on convenience, frankly. Is this a good idea?
In our opinion, it's not a good idea because universal coolants, it's basically the product name tells the consumer that you can use this product anywhere, anytime, any place.
Right.
Unfortunately, OEMs do not believe in that kind of concept. They develop their fluids to work with their engines specifically.
Yeah.
So they have specific coolant formulations that they like to see in their equipment.
Yeah.
Now, does that make the life for a fleet or a truck stop operation easier? No.
Right.
But it's a fact.
Yeah.
And universal coolants, when you start mixing products and formulations, you end up with something that you don't even know what's in your system.
Right.
So it creates a lot of confusion for the customer. It creates a lot of confusion, especially like if you're doing coolant testing. Mm-hmm. What is the lab supposed to look for?
Exactly. What kind of analysis are you going to get back, and what do you know where the concerns are?
Well, you know, what we've seen out there is that some of these mixtures actually, if you end up putting a good coolant into your system and then you end up topping up with a coolant that's not as good,
right,
what you end up is you raise the performance of the bad coolant, but you lower the performance of the good coolant. So you end up with this mishmash, and you don't know what kind of protection you're really getting.
Right. This is, to me, it just seems like an idea that wasn't thought through. But one of the indications, as you mentioned early on here, is that the OEMs do not recommend this. And when you go back to the OEMs, that's what we should be concerned about. That's where the red flag with all of this should be.
Yeah, and the OEMs, there is no OEM that recommends a universal coolant.
Right.
Okay. They recommend a specific formula, and the formula has certain chemical attributes. And not every each OEM has their own specific chemical attributes that they want to see in the coolant.
Right.
So that actually, by definition, means there cannot be a universal coolant.
Right, exactly,
so it's, unfortunately, I think it's a marketing strategy that's gone from the automotive side of the business, and it's sort of coming into the heavy-duty side.
Yeah.
And it's, when you think about the difference in between the cost of a car and the cost of an 18-wheeler.
Oh, yeah, vast difference. And the operation and the applications are vastly different. Apples and oranges, really.
Well, and how long you want your equipment to last. I mean, a car, 30, 40, 50,000 miles.
Right.
But a truck, 100,000 miles is nothing.
Right.
So,
that's less than a year. Let's talk about the extended life coolants that Chevron offers. Let's talk about the formulation and why drivers should be using it.
Well, first of all, Delo Extended Life Coolant is the factory fill formulation for every heavy-duty U.S. OEM in the United States.
Right.
So you really are safe using Delo in your heavy-duty engines, because if you got it from the factory, that means basically that your OEM has already evaluated the fluid, is comfortable with the performance.
Right.
So that's what they would like for you to put in your truck, in your cooling system.
Yeah.
So in essence, if you want to think about the application of one product in almost every truck that comes out of the factory in the U.S., Delo ELC is the product.
There you go.
We don't call it a universal coolant,
right?
Because they're little holes in OEM specifications that actually may call for a little bit different formulation, and we also have that formula, but like I said, it is a little bit different formula.
Yeah.
So it's not universal. It is OEM specific,
right?
But it's not universal.
Yeah, it's a very good point. And again, that's a good indicator when the OEMs are concerned about having these universal coolants, and at the same time they're insisting on the Delo ELCs.
Yeah.
That right there, that tells me that that's what drivers should be using. That's what's recommended for the end user.
Yeah, we feel like it's the right product out there, especially if you're looking for an extended life coolant. It has a long track record. We've used it for the last 15 years. It's been the leading product in the in the heavy-duty industry. So we're real
Right.
comfortable with that formula.
Yeah. Also, again, Nicole Fujishige, let's talk a little about synthetics. We hear a lot of things about synthetics. There's a little bit boost in efficiency. What's the true story when it comes to fuel economy and using these full synthetics that are out there?
Well, with heavy-duty motor oils and synthetics, they're really designed for a cold start property.
Yeah.
And basically, when you're looking at fuel economy, you do need to look at the viscosity grade of the product that you're using. And in our Dello product line, our Dello 400 LE for low emission 10W30 is our fuel economy leader. We've got proof of performance and test data with customers on the road leading up to 1.3% fuel economy just on the engine oil.
Wow.
Yeah, so another recommendation that we make is really to use our full Dello family of products, and we're currently conducting some testing in on-road applications, both heavy-duty trucking, highway, as well as hauling of cement, and also garbage disposal trucks that have regular routes. And what we're doing is we're testing our full Dello family of products, including extended life coolants, where, again, you get 750,000 miles, and with an extender, 1 million miles. So really that is our leader in the industry. We've got a full line of Dello engine oils. We've got our 1540, which again is the most used engine oil viscosity grade in the industry currently.
Yeah.
But OEMs are moving towards lower viscosity grades for fuel economy.
Right.
So if you're looking for fuel economy, then our Dello 400 LE 10W30 is really the answer.